I'm here with Armis Stanley Reeve, Ike Friesen, and Armis Stanley Deputy Reeve, Peter Froese. Good to be here with both of you gentlemen. And we're talking about 2022. It started out with some uncertainty with drought conditions that a couple of years in advance leading in from 2021. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So 2021 was definitely drought, as everyone recalls. And so going into 2022, we somewhat expected the same, but it was different. We got a lot of snow right off the start, so there was a lot of snow removal for our crews. And then we got into floods in the spring. So it was a bit challenging at the beginning of the year. With the floods, we had 289 DFA claims, and so that in itself created a lot of extra work for staff as the flood was happening, and then into administration later to figure this all out and make the claims, etc. So I do want to give credit to our staff at this time as well, our CEO Dale Taves and all our staff. They just went above and beyond in a lot of this work in repairs as it was happening, and just spur of the moment things as they had to take care of it, and then administration after.
So for either one of you, do you recall any specific stories? There was a lot of close calls with yards in the spring flooding. How often do you remember seeing big chunks of ice flowing through fields and down the sides of the roads and blocking roadways? Like, do you have any specific stories to share in that regard?
Yeah, it was during the spring floods. It was definitely a big challenge for us, and it was just remarkable as to how our community rallied, not only with our staff, but the resilience that was shown with the whole community working together to try and help others out in need. We had the farmers, they came and they set up water pumps for us to help try to drain the water as fast as we could, and it was remarkable to see the whole community come together like that.
Because it's not very often that you have overland flooding coming out of a drought situation and then having folks essentially trapped on their yards in from a situation like that. Kind of unexpected when you're planning for a drought and then having to deal with that. How do you switch from one gear to the next, and in such a big territory? And when there's you have one part of the municipality that might be affected and one that's not. Well,
the administration part is still ongoing even for the drought. We still are working on drought plans, things like that. And now we're also incorporating different flood plans. And so it's busy. There's a lot of work being done. But, I mean, it also relieved our water usage. We didn't see the dips that we did in the other years, and so it did relieve areas like that for us.
Just adding to that a little bit, although the moisture was definitely a challenge for the agricultural sector, we definitely appreciated the moisture, and I think the farmers will agree that we had a very blessed year with good crops and good prices.
The crops were planted late, and it started so slow, but in the end it turned out so good. So definitely a blessing, like you said. And a lot of other things happen in the RM as well, with development and the reservoir starting right here by the Boundary Trails Health Center, and that's, I know you and I have talked about that. Ike, just maybe talk a little bit again about how important that project is.
Yes, the Corridor Reservoir is going to help us with our water systems and future demands. We need to make sure we have the capacity to let the hospital expand as well, and for our other reservoirs, we hope this will be a good backup plan for them as well.
And yeah, there's been some action happening at Stanley Park as well. I know last year talked about toboggan run that was added, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. There's been a lot of other things that have been going on, making it extra special for all the people that enjoy it. Did you want to share a little bit about what's happened there?
We actually see over 20,000 people come to Stanley Park annually, and we do have about 190 campers that come there over the year. We opened it up in the winter last year, and we'll do the same again. We have some toboggan runs there. The parking lot will be cleared for people to park on. We have added 2 gazebos on the property, as well as another washroom facility. And we're just working on new signage as well for the area. It's one of the nicer Frisbee golf courses in Manitoba as well, and it gets well used. I've actually played myself.
There's a couple of other highlights when it comes to some of the villages and connectivity and some community places grants that really helped out with the Schonzenfeld, connecting that to Winkler, and in addition to others. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, we've extended a pathway from Schonzenfeld to Winkler. It's not quite complete. We hope to complete that in the early spring. That's been one of the things that we've been working on. We also have recently met with the villages. We try to get together with them annually with some of their reps from the villages, where we discuss they can bring forward concerns, or they provide feedback to us on programs that we've put out there, like recycling or the block party programs. So it's been very beneficial and a positive exercise to go through with the villages.
One of the items I'd like to point out is we purchased some land in Reinfeld for park space there as well. And so the grass was sown this last year in fall to give it a second seeding. The trees are planted, and the community is very actively looking at different things that they want to implement onto that park. So that's a new addition for us.
So that did get underway in 2022, and that will continue on in the new year. Where do you see that going in 2023?
Well, we've left it to the community group now to go further with the things that they would like to see on it. So I think the first thing will possibly be an ice rink coming there eventually.